Good morning, First Baptist. So excited to come and share with you this morning. I want to share with you a couple of things. First of all, I've been missing you and praying for you and asking God to guide you and direct you and help you in your ways. And I know that He is. And so I want to encourage you just to be faithful during this time. Hopefully we can get back together soon and worship together. I also want to mention to you and share with you, there have been several questions about, are we in the end times? And how do we respond as Christians? How do we respond to people when they ask us questions? And so I've been reading in Matthew's Gospel, and they asked that question. The disciples asked the question to Jesus. They asked three questions, and so I want to encourage you to read Matthew chapter 24. But the three questions are, when are you coming back? What is the sign of your coming? And what is the sign of the end of the age? And so people have been talking about signs. They've been talking about signs all along, down through history. But I think that there are several things that we can look at and that I got and God revealed to me through His Word. First of all, I want to mention to you that yes, people have been talking about it, but we need to make sure and respond the way Jesus did. And so the first thing that I want you to understand is that we must be ready. We must make sure that we are ready to meet the Lord. The reason is because the Bible in Matthew 24:25 talks about how there's some that were ready, there were some that weren't. And talking about the 10 virgins, and then talking about the ones that were in the fields, one will be taken, and one will be left. And so we've got to make sure that we are ready. Make sure and evaluate yourself. And I think this is a great time that God is waking us up and getting our attention, getting our attention about what is taking place. I don't know if it's the last time. I don't know if Jesus will come today. He might. But the truth is that God has gotten our attention. Our economy, the world's economy, has been disrupted and in shambles. The sports, the government's work has been shut down. All of our plans and all of the things that we thought that we could stand alone and things have been shut down. Or at least stopped or momentarily stopped. And so it reminds me that Jesus is in control. And we must make sure, the first thing is we must make sure that we are ready. Make sure that you are ready if Jesus comes back in the next hour. Make sure you're ready. Make sure that you go home with Him. The second thing that it talks about in Matthew is that we need to be alert. That we need to always be watching, that we need to be alert. I'm reminded of when Jesus was born and when Jesus came the first time. And there were a couple of people who saw and recognized Him as a Messiah. And what was the difference? The difference was they were looking and seeking for the Messiah. They were seeking and looking. They were alert. And so that's what I want to encourage you today is be alert. One of the things that it talks about in God's Word is how in the end times people's hearts will grow cold towards God. And that is not something that I want my heart to do, and I'm sure that you don't either. And so we've got to be alert. We've got to be ready. We've got to make sure that we are prepared, but we've also got to be alert and looking around and watching for the coming of Christ. The third thing is that we must be faithful. We must be faithful. As I talked about, people's hearts were cold. I want to be counted as faithful. My prayer is that when Jesus does come back or I pass away, that as I meet Jesus face to face, and I'm looking forward to that day, but as I do, I want to hear those words, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." And so I pray that God will bless you through this. I want to encourage you with three things. First of all, how to respond. Make sure you're ready. Second of all, be alert. Look and be prepared and be watching for the coming of Christ. I don't know if it'll happen in the next 5 minutes or 500 years. Only the Father knows. But then be faithful. I pray that God will bless you in this, and I pray that God would strengthen you today. I want to encourage you. There's a great sermon that Dr. David Jeremiah just put out, and I gained a lot from that. And so as Christians, let's live for the Lord. Let's be ready, and let's be faithful. I'm looking forward to being with you soon, and I'm praying for each one of you as each day we face and encounter different trials. May God bless you.